You would think that if Britt could have a full hospital, the elderly could. I mean, Britt isn't open all the time either, as far as.
Who is Brit? Which is Brit with?
Hancock.
Yeah, but it's Mercy.
It is Mercy.
But it's affiliated with Mercy. Yeah. Which I
Well,
think
haven't they
Algona
already?
is also.
You know the whole Mercy thing.
Please enter your participant or moderator code followed by the pound key.
That closed.
Yeah.
They remodeled all of that for a clinic or whatever, and then it closed.
Please say your name followed by the pound key. You are the first participant in the conference.
Well, congratulations, Grandma.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
That's exciting. I'm glad everybody's healthy.
Are we ready to start?
Yep.
All right, let's take a look.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I stood up, thought I was going to say the Lord's Prayer. All right, let's get my good mind free here.
Yeah, there you go.
Amen.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the agenda.
I'll second.
On a motion from Jens Vogt and a second from Smith to approve the minutes of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Our Father.
It's all intertwined.
I used to say that with my kids every night when they were going to bed. Now I can't get them all hurried together quick enough to do it anymore.
No, Scott's not answering, so hopefully he's on his way up. Do you have the Super Bowl liquor license? Probably take care of that one. I feel like we got the four corners of a round table here.
It's giving us a little taste of what it could be in downstairs, though.
Yeah.
So we can actually see each other.
Probably start.
But you can just give it straight to him.
Okay.
You're gonna be the one making the motion for it anyway, aren't you?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license for the Super Bowl.
I'll second.
On a motion from Derby and a second from Smith to approve the liquor license for the Super Bowl. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's see. Well, since Scott wasn't answering, should we just do our budget meeting with Robert? Since he's here, we can get that done.
Making sure. Check it out.
Been stealthy, I didn't even see you sneak in.
Trying to make as noise as I could. You guys cold in here?
Nope.
Oh, are
It's
you?
really warm up this
It's
way.
warm. It's gotta be 80 degrees in
It is.
Well, the last couple of weeks has been really cold.
We figured out why. The thermostat's in that room, and the door's closed. And it doesn't read right. If you got it, it's set on
there.
78 in there. And, but in that room there, it can't hardly be 68. And out here was, this was
Actually, it feels like from the time I got here till now, it's cooled off.
Good. It hits you when you walk in.
Fan's still on low.
What page is Robert's on?
I can make it
Participant announcements on.
47?
Page 47 or number 47?
Page 47.
So is that all of my budget is on that, starts on those pages?
Oh, What's 22 does?
I can give you.
Okay.
All in one. A little hard to read, but I guess the fine print is not. The new system is a little harder to follow as far as breaking it down with my word numbers. I think this is something accurate. I don't know where you want to start on. If you're starting on that first page, that's Conservation Trust Fund, which is where we run a lot of our grants through and donations to the Conservation Board. We've ran a few things through there for the Nature Center in the past, but since construction started, most of the expenses have been coming through the Nature Center budget construction purposes. But for next year, that budget will be closed. We also, on that first page, line 28, or line 28 there, they grew it. The Tri-County Recreation Association is planning to buy a mower, another mower, and they will give the county a check for that amount, and then we'll run it through there again. We did that. We've done it about 3 or 4
I was
times.
gonna say, you've done it several
It
times.
seems like we might have, I don't know if it was this year or the last year, but I think it was last fiscal year.
Well, there's 45,000 in this year's budget. Are they gonna use that or,
Yeah, that's the line item that we use, yeah.
okay, but they're doing it this year and next year,
No, next year. Next year.
but not this year, because they have it in the budget this year.
No, that's, yeah. No. That's,
It's in 22, 23 as well.
we've done it the past years, and I'd have to go back and look and see if it was last fiscal year.
Well, 22, 23, there was a 25,950 actually.
Let's
We
see,
budgeted.
that was, let's go back and look and see.
I didn't know if they buy more every year or every.
No,
year.
they don't. It can go anywhere from 2, 3 years, 5 years. Lately I think things have been going pretty well for them out there.
But for our purposes, this is just a pass-through.
It's pass-through. It's always a
There's
pass-through.
no burden on the taxpayers.
And we will run some state grants through there. We did a wetland restoration by the Hogs Back. It would have been in, let's see, previous fiscal year. We got a grant from the DNR and we ran it through there. And from the Fish and Wildlife Service. It was all a pass-through.
So under your land acquisition, what is $25,000?
There's nothing, no specific project in there.
You can say 25,000 doesn't buy much more than a lot in town.
No, not at all. In some cases, what we're able to do if we get a DNR grant, state grant, is have the payment made directly to the seller in certain cases. That's case by case.
So it's more probably for the purpose of the paperwork and stuff like that, legal.
Yeah. On the second page there, well, it starts on line 84, but it's actually most of it's on the next page. For REAP, that's the Resource Enhancement and Protection Fund. That's state funds that we get from the DNR. We get about $10,000 through the DNR, I should say, about $10,000 per year. And we've used that for a variety of things over the years, but sometimes it's seed money for a project. We've used it to help pay for equipment or unforeseen costs. We've used it for environmental education over the years. I think we probably use a little bit of it for the Nature Center. And we're also eligible for grants through that program, which we haven't received any in recent years.
Have you decided to turn your existing offices into another rental then, or?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. There's been no specific action taken on it. It's gonna it'll
Nothing
take
in here?
nothing in here right now. And if we did start something that fiscal year, we'd probably run it through our conservation trust fund, do some grants. Yeah, we'd have to do some work out there. You have to make it suitable for rental. But that's been the discussion all along. We have enough demand for our current cabin that we could easily rent another one.
I see you've raised some numbers, but specifically the telephone and telegraph?
Yeah, that includes our security system, our fire monitoring for the Nature Center. We had to have a separate phone line for the elevator, security, for safety. So that's. And we have a security system that will be monitored. The fire alarm is monitored separately. Same company, but it's a separate agreement. Heating, electricity, that number we don't have any history yet, so it's a little hard to budget for that one, but for the Nature Center mostly. And our shop. The salary increase was, the number put in there was 4.5%, and the board said they would follow what you guys end up doing. Whatever that is.
4.2 or 3?
4.5.
4.1.
Cost of living was estimated at 3.2.
Yeah, that's very good.
You guys know when you figured out when you're gonna make a decision on that yet?
You gotta look how things are in the budget, what the numbers come out at.
We have one more payment to make on the skid steer. So as far as new equipment, mine's will be on about line 212 there. We bought that in a 2-year purchase agreement, the 3 payments.
That was for what now?
Track skid loader.
Track skid steer. Put the forestry cutter on it.
It's been quite a little used, is it?
Yeah, we had last month. We kept it busy. I mean, we were up at Quam and Jackrabbit, Kingland Munson tract, in Bloomster, Harlan, and we're gonna start it up again next week. Slight increase in our vehicle maintenance, line 187. $90. Small increase in line 195, which is plumbing, which is our public water supply testing. We'll have to, both Thorpe Park well and the Nature Center are considered public water supplies. We have to test those monthly.
Monthly? Okay. Maybe a couple times a year.
You get to the city.
It used to be,
Every week.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's,
It used to be that it wasn't, until when we added, I think you get up to a specific number of outlets or faucets on your property and a certain number of people visiting those per year. And like, for example, Dolly Park, which is a small park, is not a public water, no public to make that, based on connections and amount of use. Sanitation on line 210 there, we have a slight increase there. That's we're using Peterson sanitation. That saved us quite a bit of money over the last year or two now.
But you went back up because, you went back up because of the nature center then, or?
Well, we've got one at the Target Range, or Dolly Park, Thorpe Park. We have two at different times of the year. The Nature Center went up a little bit. We'll have one there. But it's about $50 a month, so $600 per month. Waste management was well over $300 a month at times, per dumpster.
looks like most of the increases that I see are related to the nature center.
Yeah, utilities,
Everything's gonna go.
and
Because
then
you
the
got
others
another
would be
facility.
insurance. That one, we had it budgeted in the current fiscal year, not knowing that when exactly the building would be up and running. So, and I just talked to Carly the other day about the final number on the nature center. So that's actually, let's see. I think on Carla's printout, I gave you that extra number, Carla, over here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So that should have been added.
yep, that's in my,
That'd be in yours, it's not on mine.
Yep.
It'd be 14,989 should be instead of 12. And then also the plan would be that, so the revenue that would be generated from the nature center would go into the general fund. And then those lines under conservation special projects, starting about line there 236, those are all specific to a park or an activity. So they, for example, Thorpe Park, the cabin, we pay for the utilities, expenses for the cabin out of that, the revenue that's generated by the cabin or the campgrounds. Or the Hogsback, for example, the Hogsback Target Range now is generating revenue through permits, and that should help it be more self-sufficient for the expenses. And plus, we also get some donations.
So you're looking at your telegraph services doubling because of the new building? Telephone and telegraph's going up to 3,000.
Well, not the telephone. Well, we had to add. We have 2 lines. One's for the elevator specifically, and that's for the securities or the. There's audio and video in the elevator, and then we have fire monitoring service we have to pay for.
That's all through the
security system, Hawkeye communication stuff. That's the increase.
Just seems like a lot of peripheral bill.
Yes, yeah, and then I've been working with Brody, and we're trying to, and I don't know if we've got the final answer yet, but, our telephone line will be connected to the courthouse. So you can punch a number and bring us up, even though we're in Leland. And we're trying to see if we can do that with the elevator. If there's a call coming out from the elevator, in the past, it was a toll-free number that the monitoring company would provide. They've done away with that because of the expense. Well, that is going to get used maybe once every how many years? But we're still paying a monthly.
We tried calling you and we tried calling you and you didn't answer, so.
Oh,
So we went on.
sounds good.
We'll just call you.
Sounds good.
Anyway, we're trying to see if we can get that lowered a little bit. Brody's working with WCT on that.
What did you ever figure out? Did you have custodial for the new facility?
We haven't really figured out exactly how it's going to work. You know, I talked to Kevin a little bit about it, just like light maintenance kind of thing. We got all that square footage of flooring, and when Susan was up there a couple weeks ago, she asked me about that flooring, and I asked the flooring vendor, and he said, don't use a scrubber on it. It's too much water.
Yep.
So that means you're going to need somebody's going to be mopping it. So,
I knew that.
yeah.
Wow, it can be a lot of water too. I run one of them floor
Well,
scrubbers before, and it's down and sucked right back
Well, yeah,
up.
and he said, don't, he said, he had an example somewhere they used one, and he said they had problems. Because the tile isn't sealed. I mean, it's,
So
you know,
it gets down in there.
it can get underneath it apparently.
Lets loose over time.
And, you know, I see Kevin when he goes, it's pretty much, well, not dry, but there's really not any standing water, but.
No,
There's a squeegee that keeps it vacuumed up.
yeah, no, the water isn't there for that long even.
If they're telling us not to, I don't suppose we better try it.
Yeah.
So,
You read the fine print, it won't be.
it might void the warranty. We already had, he was back a couple weeks ago, reattaching a couple tile that had gotten loose. And the carpet too, we had a couple spots where it was. And our carpeting is, and the tile is just, you know, carpeting is 2-foot squares. And he showed me how you can just pull one up if it becomes damaged or stained, and you've got some extra, you slap a new one back down. So that's kind of the beauty of those tiles. You can, if you have soil carpet, you can replace it. No, so we're gonna still try to figure out exactly how that's gonna work.
So we kind of had that discussion in here about Kevin. I mean,
Yeah.
as Kevin was putting his budget in this year, he got a phone call that, what was it, something?
The fire alarm was.
Yeah, the fire alarm was going,
Oh, here you mean?
yeah. So I think our general consensus was that we need Kevin closer around than out, way out there.
And I told him, you know, when this was before we heard about what we can and can't do with the floor, I said, you know, even if we could borrow your piece of equipment that is clean, and but you know, they're telling us we shouldn't use it on that floor. We have concrete in the basement, lower level, so that's not going to use. Yeah, as far as our fire alarm has already gone up there. Somebody tripped it somewhere.
We just have to make sure you have really good walk-off mats.
Yeah, we got some coming in this, probably this week. Yeah. And it'll be, it won't be every day, it'll be, some days maybe it's not gonna get that much traffic, other days it might be full of people and require more maintenance. The folks that would use, like, for example, the auditorium, we have an agreement where they have to go in there and at least vacuum and pick up after themselves, keep things clean that way. But we're still gonna have other restrooms and that kind of thing.
Or just a cleaning fee cost attached somehow.
Yeah, we
The
can look at that.
Heritage Center, if you use that, I've used it for a couple of my large weddings.
Yep.
And there you've gotta go under and sweep it all up, but you don't have to worry about all the sticky stuff on the floor because they're gonna go over it later with that's part of it. They got their machine that they do, it with, which sounds like you can't use it, at least have.
Yeah, and the lower level, that classroom down there, that would, it's concrete, but we could run Kevin's machine over that if, we can borrow that occasionally.
I think about, you say that you can mop it, but it can't be much over a Swiffer type mop, can it?
Well, not if you can't get any, with a mop,
You'll have to just see how much water that thing actually puts out,
Yeah, you can adjust it, how much you're putting out.
Just less is more. Is
Those
the whole
sweepers,
thing.
I've mopped and I've used those, and there's no more water on the floor with a sweeper than there is with a mop, and it's actually probably stays on the floor less of the time with the sweeper because it's right up.
right up.
But if you keep it more of a dry dampness.
Yeah, so if there's that much adjustment to it, maybe we'll give it a try.
Yeah,
Because on mine, it just has a valve, you open and shut, you can adjust it.
because I know that the liquid that goes with Swiffers and stuff like that is not recommended for it either. You're supposed to use the hottest water you can use.
A minimal amount of
Leave a haze
any
or
kind of
something.
cleaner, and a minimal amount of any kind of soap or,
Right.
yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Have you talked to anybody as far as, contracting the custodian?
I've had a couple people inquire.
Okay.
We have somebody that we use out there now, the office, but I don't know if that person would be,
Not that much of an increase.
have enough, yeah. I don't know if that would be something that person can handle. So, yeah, we've had some people that have shown some interest in, so we'll see. We're waiting for the final walkthrough. The elevator got inspected and certified last week, and should be having the final walkthrough today. I'm waiting to hear from the architect and the contractors.
When-
People have been asking
When will you
when
be
there's
putting
going
up
to be.
your taxidermy then?
Yeah, that's another thing. We have quite a few things that we can bring out there. We've also been talking with some mural artists that can do some really neat things. We're kind of incorporating our taxidermy with what she can do, and just make it look 3D. Most people don't want to just see animals hanging on the wall. They want to see a little more interactive.
And that we got orders from the county attorney to get that one mount out of the basements. If you guys want it, I gotta go get it.
Do you have one
It's a nice little 10-point shoulder mount.
in the basement of where?
It's in Sam and Kelsey's.
Oh,
Sam took it out there years ago to Kelsey's bandage.
I see. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, we've had some donated items. And then I've got a couple people that have some really nice collections they want to donate. Yeah. Yeah. And that'll be ongoing.
Give it to you and do whatever you want with it, I guess.
Some things we would probably take and others we maybe wouldn't, we maybe pass on.
Is this one you would pass on, or is this one you might want?
I don't know, I have to see it. Because, some of them look like they've been,
See if his nose is cracking or not.
some of them look like they're 50 years old.
I have not looked at that one in years, but mine that was done at the same time in the late 80s still looks really good.
Yeah, some of them. We've got one that was shot in the late 60s up by Rice Lake. That was a record deer at the time. And that was a really chick.
They were both done by the same guy at the same time, so I would assume that would probably, unless it says some mystery, they get thrown around in these basements.
Yeah. Some of them dry out, you get discolored.
How about your roadside management?
Actually went down just slightly. We had a trailer was budgeted out of there. Chemical wise, I think we're about the same. This current year, we did hire B&W to help us with some of our roadside brush. That helped.
They're usually pretty reasonable about stuff. So-
Yeah, I mean, they covered quite a bit of ground.
They do it for a living, so,
Pardon me?
and they do it for a living, so
Yeah,
they're,
and they usually bring at least a couple of ATVs and sprayers and cover quite a bit of ground.
because there has been some comment out there where these guys miss a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that continues to grow even after periods of spraying.
You know, and some of it reacts, some species are easier to kill than others with chemicals use.
So the 5,000 for new equipment, what's that for then?
On the, you're looking at roadsides?
Yeah. Because last year there was, or this year there's 14,000, next year you budgeted 5,000.
Mainly just for sprayer components, sprayer motors.
Which page is roadside
You're on the
management?
last page.
370 is
Last
the
page.
line. I'm looking at
Oh, he
his.
is.
Have you lined up the trailer yet, or?
Yeah, we have the trailer.
Okay.
That really works. That's like, if it's a tilt bed for that skid steer. And you just run right up on that, you don't, that's the way to go.
Saw an interesting looking trailer that takes it, the tilt bed sometimes, well, the tracks get over, I'm sure it's not near as bad. You know, where you get that tip back and you get the mounts in. It's a trailer that the whole deck lowers to the ground hydraulically, and then it goes back, you put back up, pin underneath it.
Oh.
That's kind of neat. I've never seen a trailer like that before.
And this one's got a fixed, first 6 feet of it's fixed, so we can set off our cutter on it and detach it. And that's, yeah,
That's how ours is too, that's nice.
that's nice. And it's got, you can put your forks on it as well. And bed to it.
Yeah, you got room for that set up front.
Yeah. And it's, saves time, real low profile, a lot safer getting on and off. We had an old deck over that we used to use, and yeah, that thing is the experience every time we try to get on it.
So you have signage somewhere for the new nature center as well?
We don't have any, no, not, I didn't add really for signage for the nature center. We're gonna we'll work on that between now and spring, hopefully, see if we can. We've had some people show a little bit of interest in maybe donating towards the sign. We looked at, there's an outfit over at St. Anne's here, they can carve in rock, into that route. We've got the highway signs up, of course.
I've seen some cool ones out of Corten steel.
What?
Corten steel,
Oh, okay.
cutouts,
Anywhere in particular? I mean,
ethnicities.
oh,
I don't know where we even get a bid on.
I have seen some, like with the recycled plastic lumber type,
Mhm.
some of that, low maintenance.
So Susan, what type of material was that?
Corten steel, like it would be laser
Oh,
cutouts.
CNC,
Okay.
Pardon?
like a CNC cutter?
Yeah, yep. Kind of cool.
One of our road guys does that.
Really?
Andy,
Oh, yeah.
Andy
does?
Goodmanson
Andy
has a
Goodmanson.
CNC that will
You're
cut
right.
out things. He's pretty talented. He might be interested in doing something like that. I don't know
I
how
think there's a
big.
couple in Clear Lake too. I should take a couple pictures of them just for, I think there's a dentist office over there.
In Lake Mills?
He actually lives over in Northwood now.
He lives
but
in
he's-
Northwood
He's
now.
still got he's got a shop at his mom's place there, out by WCTA, across the road.
Mhm.
It's,
So that's Goody, that was Goody's boy?
Mhm.
And you said Andy, right?
yep,
I've never seen him do any really big stuff, but I have seen
yeah,
some
most of
smaller
it's
things.
like this, but
I know they did one over here in East, I think it was Eastwoods a number of years ago, somebody cut it, I don't know who did that.
I wonder if the one out at Rice Lake Park out there isn't Corten.
At the corner? Is that-
No, in the park.
at the-
'Cause they
Oh,
took
in
down
the park. Well, the Pilot Knot State Park, they put up a new sign, on with a different, kind of a universal
Yeah, different format,
black and,
but that's not steel, huh?
didn't think they were. But
So you'll store mowers and snow equipment removal out there?
right now, we have a snow blower, walk behind sitting out there, and then we have a tractor with a snow blower on it, plugged in down below there.
So
Kind of trying to figure out what the snow is gonna do, Right now, up above it, pretty much blows off.
I was gonna say, with the height there, it just probably just blows past.
Down below, like below the retaining wall, it kind of wants to dump in there, so maybe we'll put some snow fence out next year above and let the sea. Up on the top, it's pretty much blowing away.
the driveway itself, right by the highway there, is that kind of critical?
I was gone last week, so,
I mean, it usually, like when we went left the meeting that one night, flowing, I don't think it was much more than this.
so far,
Probably more something in your plow truck, you just sweep in and,
yeah, we've got a plow in the front of one of our pickups too, so.
yeah, pretty low bottom. Well, does anybody else have any questions about this?
I don't.
It's just gone down, but it's gone up. The construction spending will come to a halt.
What's that?
The construction spending will come to a halt.
Yeah. And we're still waiting for a final bill. We held off on billing this for the last couple of months.
And that'll come out of your funds you already have on hand?
Yeah, yep. Between the foundation, a little bit out of the conservation trust fund yet.
Then you got your monies from the cat grant or whatever.
Yeah, we have a little bit coming back from them. That'll be from the last, we have to have it closed before they'll give us the last thing.
kind of discombobulated with our agenda right now. We've done 1, 4, and 9. We want to, trying to think, how do we organize our department head meeting? We just, is everybody watching the evening? Or start calling them and get them in?
However you guys want to do it.
Be nice just to clear that up while it's
Get
got a
it done?
computer. Call Scott and get him up here, or after department head, then we go back to Scott. Yeah, we're gonna do department head and then you, so you probably need to be here for both. All right, bye. Is Sue McCullough part of that then?
All department heads.
Okay. I don't know if she's watching or not. Maybe I should hold up a signed department head meeting.
Yeah, there you go.
Why don't you make one?
Quick, just quick, make one.
We'll see who shows up in that.
My artistic talents aren't the greatest.
It would catch their attention.
Yeah, maybe go.
You see, I got tired of being between those two up there in my own table. Actually, I have a head cold, so that's why I moved away from everybody else.
She just got contacted on people watching YouTube, and she can see how intimidated Terry and I were by her, so we're trying to just
Put a
go
little
back off.
space between us.
Slick. Fast.
1% today.
She called Julie Sorensen.
What's this chair here for, me?
It's for you, evidently.
She's usually
I'll sit
watching. Listen.
Are we waiting for anybody else?
Yeah, Julie.
Julie Sorensen, Julie Swenson.
Well, Julie Swen, they're in DOT training this
Oh, okay.
morning. I don't know if she'll be here. Talked to Julie Sorensen this morning.
Oh, she's at a doctor's appointment.
Oh,
She wasn't in when I left.
Okay.
Hey, Shannon, how are you? Good. I tried to get a hold of you.
Allison.
I didn't get a chance to even get logged onto that thing.
Oh, that's okay.
It's been a busy week.
That's okay. That's just what I'm gonna talk
Hi,
about,
Allison.
so maybe
Are
it's
you
not gonna be
available
long
for
by any
department
means.
head meeting since Julie's
I
gone?
think I must have opened it initially and then.
Okay, we're gonna start it here pretty soon. At the courthouse,
I
office.
just a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
My time.
All right, bye.
You want to do
Log
Ruth
in.
Moby?
Bless you.
Am I missing any department heads?
Hi Ruth, this is Terry Derby. We're having a department head meeting now, if you wanna come up. Anyway,
Sue? No?
Did you call Sue?
not yet. Still working around. We're doing our department head meeting now. Yeah, we're working on it.
Oh, it's spitting.
All right.
That's where we missed on it.
Really?
How about Kevin?
Oh, Kelsey probably
It's
too.
just fallen through several times, I know, and I
They
think
weren't,
they're confused about the equipment, I think, but I think
You still have it on?
yeah, but
I
haven't seen it
I,
this week.
Kevin's gone.
texted
Rick just asked me about it.
Kelsey.
She's right there. She just walked in.
Wait,
since
So work.
I'm pretty sneaky. Kevin?
But he's gone. He's at a funeral.
these are guys in the.
Did you get contact with your vehicle?
Contact Rick.
Hello, vehicle.
What happened? What's that?
Well, so I went to Quick Start to get coffee this morning, and then when I went to leave, the parking brake was on,
Kelsey can go
and I
over.
couldn't get it to come off.
Kevin's
And
contact.
me being the really smart woman that I am, just drove it here anyway. I could not get it. So Rick went out, and he had to mess with it quite a bit, and he finally got it off, so.
He figured
I don't know,
out.
it's like,
So all the skid marks from Quick started here, and
How did he let you go?
well, I mean, it didn't want to.
How new was this house?
Brand new.
Naturally.
You could try.
Yeah, that's the first
Tell him
thing
she's
Sam said is, I just put
being
tires on
conventional.
that thing like
I guess.
a week ago, or it's been a couple weeks, but they're super new. So,
Yeah.
hopefully just affected for them.
No, yeah,
Because I think it was just the one tire
the lady that
that.
witnessed it said it was
She's actually
just
dispatched.
left her on, it wasn't rolling.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I asked Andy yesterday.
Yeah.
if They were gonna be part of that.
She was wondering who was driving that vehicle, cause she,
We had somebody call our office and then Rick came up because somebody had told him, so
that's the other lady.
everyone was looking out for me, I
looked at it,
guess.
go,
but-
No, I'm guessing.
That window.
Yeah, Sam's in a meeting, so he doesn't know I dragged it the whole way yet, so I'm sure he'll love that.
Should be good.
Well.
I didn't want to, he told me to call a shop, and I said, I don't want to call a shop if it's just like the parking brake's on and I can't get it off. Probably should have.
Cost you the price of the tire.
What's that?
Cost you the price of the tire.
Yep.
Those $200 won't take care of it.
Great.
Well, we're still waiting.
So we
on
wait for Allison, okay. Here she is. Hi. Okay, so it's just gonna be short and sweet. I sent out an email about, the IMWCA Learn website. So basically, if you got signed in, that's great. If you didn't and need a temporary password or help signing in, just let me know. I can set you up a temporary password. This is something that Scott Smith sent me when we were on Zoom the other morning. It's just kind of, I mean, obviously it's not set in stone. It's just kind of like a guideline that they have for departments and what classes that they offer. I'm assuming a lot of you, Scott, a lot of your guys, I'm sure, do OSHA stuff already that you know that's required. Same thing with you for conservation, Robert. But I just wanted to touch on some things. There was a link in there that you can click on to look at like the courses that they offer, and it's kind of nice because it's grouped in categories, so you can click on specific ones that are for your department. When I set all the employees up, I gave them managers, so like us three in the auditor's office, like Carla's all of our managers. So when, like, if I took class, I could see it and Carla could see it. So same thing with all your departments. I thought about for Allison, and I'm assuming Scott and Robert do this as well, but like you do external learning offsite, like if you did like a CPR offsite or something for, I don't know if you guys do like, I don't know what offsite you guys would do, but something that we don't offer or you're required to take, I can put that into that Learn website and just bulk add everybody and just say what kind of training it was, just as like a way to keep better track of what they're taking for courses in like one specific spot. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty handy. It's pretty user-friendly. On that link, there's also a webinar that you can watch if you wanted to know more information about it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward if you look at it. And I didn't get any questions on my email when I sent it out, so. Like I said, if you want to take a look at it and have any questions or need help getting in, just let me know.
So can I just verify then, I would probably go with public health, but the things that are in black are the things that we need to do then? Okay, and they have to be done by a certain date?
Well, and they're suggested. I mean, obviously we don't have like a landfill and recycling and, you know what I mean? But these are the ones that IMWA suggested on their website. So, like, I didn't put a manager for the department heads, obviously, because it's you guys. So, like if Kelsey wanted to go on and say, I'm gonna take this and I want you guys to take it too, you know what I mean? Or you can just go on and say, I'm gonna take this for myself, or, you know.
Sure. So then you need to know that if it's additional so that you can add that to this.
If it's off-site, yes. Yeah, but if they do it within the Learn website, it'll automatically just come. Yep. Yeah.
So like our CPRs and stuff, doing through like Fort City Ambulance, we could input those.
Yeah, either you were, because I put you and Mike on all your guys's. So if you guys want to do it, if you want me to do it, if you just want to give me a list of who showed up and what it was, or, yeah, either way is fine. Because it's just easier to have it all in one spot. I mean, instead of going through like their employee record or whatever files that you keep for that person. You're like, well, did they do this, or when was that, or how many years ago? You know, it's just easy to have it all in one spot. That's all I got. Any questions? Pretty easy.
Surprised confined spaces isn't a recommended one for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions on this?
It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
Kelsey, there's tire changing operations.
That may be applicable now.
Start a speed dial.
Might require my employees to take it.
So then you can call them to come help you.
You got it a few days ago when there was ice on the roads all the way, it wouldn't have been quite so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
right,
slid
that's
in.
true.
But ice will peel it off too.
Yeah.
Just takes long.
You know, Kelsey. All right, Bob. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I was just going through the Learn website that
You are the only
When
participant.
I got here, I told Kevin to
Um,
call Cesar.
just basically, there's links on there to look at classes
Where
that
did
you
this
can
happen?
offer, or assign your employees, and like,
I just
they,
wrote it.
all of your employees show you as their manager. So
What
if
color
you
hair you
want
got?
to assign them,
Blonde.
like, hey, I want you to take this class, I want you to take this class.
And sometimes it
So
shows.
once they do, it'll show up when you end them.
You know that
So that
whole
you take it.
book
That
smart
they-
versus street smart thing?
And then if you want to, you know what, I'm gonna guess clerical for all of us in here.
Listen, I'm already gonna hear it from my husband. I'm
But
gonna hear it from you.
if
What
they.
you're saying is you have the tire changing.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and like this,
All you got?
stuff that you guys are doing
Okay, thank you.
would be like an external
Ken was good, they had,
on the Learn website, but I can add everybody, say, to training from whatever to whatever on this day.
I'll look to see if I got one day, just
Your
took
training
Carl.
in the spot. I mean, instead of like looking at.
In like January, February.
That was the only one.
Yeah.
November, December.
Right.
Nice, so would you just log all your
So,
like
I mean,
workouts?
like I said, like they can do.
Is that what you have on record?
You know, on each training that's Scott has.
You normally just have
I can't.
go or.
Are we,
So
is
you
there
can do
this
that.
what
Because
requires
I can put all
are we
our-
clerical?
Or if you wanted to use me and say, these people
Nicole ever
should
got
take
on
class
that?
on this day, we'll add you.
We're all of them.
Alright.
It kind of
Yeah.
covers the bulk of it.
And then if you go on that website too, there's
We'd be able to plan it, Bill.
courses by, not by department, but it's like.
You
by
should take that one.
category. And you can look and see.
This is.
And are you requiring us to have as many classes, or you,
Yes.
this is our decision? Okay.
Yep, so if you wanna go in there and look and say, oh, I think that would be really good.
So if people, say, active
We're
in this,
backtracking for
with our,
the forward, but.
That's a deferral question, I'm not sure. I would assume so. Yeah, 'cause, I mean,
One let her.
you would think it already.
you go back a couple months, anything that can help.
People aren't trained by the-
Yeah, right.
Whether they'll actually.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that.
Yeah,
Run the
right.
building and run
you know.
No,
That's
that's-
our goal.
Down there.
Not that we have a lot,
The
but
rest of the property there.
some years you're better than
Yeah,
others.
just send it to me.
Until they close, they
Yeah, we're
don't
in
have a discussion about-
training right now.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I don't know.
See the discussion about buying a part of it.
Well, we're on hold right now, so I thought, well, I'm gonna scoot out and see what's going on.
But it's pretty straightforward, that's all I would do.
Right.
All right.
I'll probably check with you later too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got the buildings that may or may not be done.
All right, well, thanks everyone for
Thanks,
coming in
guys.
for department head meeting.
It's hard to
Thank
know
you.
everything for sure.
Yeah.
All good.
I have this, okay, well, I think that's
Still looking for all the white sheet too.
That's why I'm
Have a clear lake, Mason City, out there, west of the rim, or
I have no idea
they're
what
up
they
and out there.
I got one gal out.
So it's here.
Reach all the way. Hey, I got a tap application.
That's why I separated myself.
That's all right.
Have a good day.
The trails through Kentucky.
Across the river.
Park across the river, where the old road bridge used to be, it's
Well, they like continuity as far as connecting.
$300,000 project, $240,000.
And that wasn't our last. Yeah, we're talking.
All right, we're up to Scott Miners, engineer, will discuss secondary road matters.
Just give you a little bit of a road update. We have some freezing frost today and some freezing rain in the forecast. So the guys did treat the roads today, kind of dealing with the current conditions, but also kind of in pre-treatment of the coming freezing rains.
I got an alert on my phone a little bit ago.
Freezing frost alert. Yeah, kind of unusual. So we'll see what happens. The temperatures will dictate a lot here in the next couple
How long
days.
does it take them to treat all of the hard surface?
Well, we normally say it takes 2 hours to make a round, but I suppose if they're not plowing snow a little bit quicker, they're just putting material down.
Are they treating it end to end then? Or?
That's what it sounds like, yep.
And how many trucks is that?
7.
So that's mostly the sand with salt?
50-50, yep.
I don't remember seeing it on the, it was on all the curves. Maybe it was aired lightly and I just didn't notice it.
Yeah, I don't know what rate they put it down at. I just thought since it's a little bit slippery this morning and inevitably we're gonna have some dicey conditions, we'll just put some material down.
All the curves, they can obviously tell it's sand salt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really were out there until about 6:45 or so. So the guy didn't finish the round until about 8:15, 30. Just kind of depends on when you were driving out there.
Well, I think it was bartender.
That's all I got.
They told bartender to get his shower.
So in our discussions from last week about the urban renewal plan and stuff, I was looking at the map this morning. The road coming out of Rake is part of the urban renewal plan, but the road going north and south is not. So Osmus. So that's the one we would have to amend if we're gonna do that part of it. Is it possible to do that in 2 stages where we do our widening of the road in one fiscal year and then come back the next fiscal year and do our paving under CHIP dollars?
You'd have to borrow it in two separate,
Yeah. Is that an issue to borrow 2 different times?
well, it costs more money.
What do you mean?
It'd have to be two separate. So you'd have to pay the fees to borrow it once and then the fees to borrow it again.
Who are we paying fees to?
Well, whoever does it'd be the lawyer fees,
Okay.
costs money to borrow.
Well, the only reason I was putting it over 2 years is because it depends on, we need a report from the treasurer on how our investments, how they're tied up, whether we can free up the money within this next fiscal year or not. Needs to be coordinated with the treasurer.
I think it would work fine to have it 2 standalone projects if they're split into grading and paving. Could work.
What happens when you have a project that carries from one fiscal year to the next in the summer? Can you do it as all one project but under 2 different?
When you do a TIF, you have one, from the time you take out the money, you have 1 year
Okay,
to
so
do the
you have a
project.
year to do it.
Yes,
And it could be under 2 different fiscal years, but,
yes.
okay. All right. Is it possible to come up with an engineering estimate on what that would take?
Yeah,
At least to the corner and the intersection?
how detailed or how close do you need me to be? We can do, there's 2 ways I would do it. One is I'd take a project that we know and the total cost and kind of proportion it out. And the other way would be to try and estimate exact quantities of all the bid items and do a really thorough engineer's opinion of costs. And that would take a lot more because usually you do that in conjunction with design. And, we don't have any survey information or anything like that to do a real accurate design.
Yeah. I would say if you can use existing projects we have to look at and maybe some inflationary work part of it,
Yeah.
that would give us an idea somewhat.
And, okay. When would you like to have it by? I'm out tomorrow noon through next month.
Wow. I'm just wondering, does this have to be on our budget if we're gonna do that?
Probably.
So we need it for the budgeting part of it. So we're looking at, how long are you gonna be out for?
Tomorrow afternoon through Monday.
Well, be back up to next week or
We need a list from Julie on those funds
the investments
available and when they're
when they expire.
expire, or when they're due, and what the interest rate is even on them, so that we make good decisions.
Well, and I think this fund can pay interest, so whatever we're losing in interest somewhere else can be paid by the TIF funds. That's a big way of doing it. Then I see your plans out at Rice Lake are, the road out at Rice Lake. How much of that was part of the plan? Did we already pave up to the avenue redone up to the state park?
We haven't done any repaving out there since it was originally paved in '99, and I'm not sure the last year of the road from up to the clubhouse. But we've done some pretty substantial patching over the years, especially in front of Sherman's house there.
Well, I think
So that was because there was a water leak under the road. And now there's been since another one, a water leak under the road that they fixed, so there's missing blacktop there now.
whose responsibility is that then?
It's the homeowner. But they did talk to me about it, and, you know, if they're up for a new paving out there, they would just as soon wait rather than patch that, if it's possible.
No, not to patch it in spring.
Well, the one thing about it, we were looking at the urban renewal map, and it probably goes up to the state park or in that area, and that's it. You don't go into the residential. So we can do part of it under the urban renewal unless we amend the district. Whether it's all in the same year or a different year or whatever. Depends on
So the
what,
part that could be in the urban renewal is from the
from the
road
blacktop
to
to
the
at least the
state
state park. It's just that, it goes like this, that's it.
actually, that's some of the worst part of it out there too, where it's falling off.
Is there
On
any
the
prep
sides.
work we'd have to do ahead of that? I mean, is there problems in the right of way or trees or anything that we had?
I'd like to see all the trees removed to the right-of-way line, personally. I think there'd be general support for that, but it'd be a big project.
And
A lot
then
of trees.
the other part of it is, because that's a very popular place to walk, it'd almost be nice to have a shoulder to walk on or something. I don't know what it'd take to do that, clearing the right
Yeah,
of
I
way
mean, it'd take a lot. Probably it would take less to just build a trail next to it.
on one side.
You know,
Trail, bottom of the ditch or whatever.
or on the back slope
On the
or
golf-
just somewhere
On
else.
the golf side
you
or
know.
something.
Yeah, I mean,
It is a popular place to walk, and it's not very safe with those curves.
I know if we did it on the, if we did a walking path, then do you say no golf carts? Because people jump out
And yeah,
and
they
take
would
off,
take the golf carts on it.
making them run the road, but it'd almost be nice to have a sign, no golf carts on that path, if we're gonna be doing that. But then you get up to that one curve, and that is the path,
Yeah, they go right up, yeah.
because they paved that part.
yeah, there's quite a bit in town here that's shared golf cart and recreation works fine.
Good.
Or if you have an electric cart and they come sneaking up behind you.
Right now, I think there's probably 22-foot wide pavement and then it drops off within a foot, so, you know, whatever you'd want to add, you'd be adding.
It really drops off on both
Embankment.
sides.
Yeah, it's steep on both sides for sure.
So what's our right of way there?
We are working on getting 66 feet bought, and I hopefully donated by the state and the golf course.
Okay.
We have the surveys completed in the last month.
You know, you're working on it.
Yeah, that's a to-do item, yep. The survey took a long time, but if you look at them, you can see why, very complicated. But there are several pieces to be donated by the DNR, a couple pieces by the golf course, and then one little sliver by the Isaac Wall.
So would that be something we're better off waiting one more year, just plan for the next year or something? Maybe do prep work ahead of time or something?
As far as prep work for the paving, if you're gonna leave the road the same width and everything, wouldn't really be any prep work there.
Well, I'm thinking the trees.
It could be paved without doing a lot with the trees. If you guys wanted to actually take the trees out to the right-of-way line, that's probably a standalone project, and I don't know how we would fund it. If it's TIF or something,
That's what I was wondering, if it should be part of the project.
I would probably handle it as two separate projects. If you want to call it the same project for TIF purposes, then it's fine, but
Well, I'm just wondering if it's, say, in the fall, when things slow down for the road crew, is that something they would do, or you have to hire that?
you know, we're the kind of tree crew that pushes stuff over with excavators.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably too close and tight in there for us to be doing that kind of tree removal. So it'd probably be more of a hired tree crew job is my guess. I'd have to see if Ethan would be willing to kind of tackle something like that. Finesse isn't really our style with tree removal.
You guys have got the equipment to do that.
Well,
All you need is a good chainsaw and a bucket. You guys got a bucket truck at all?
we have a bucket truck.
Yeah, I mean, and you got guys that have the know-how. I mean, I can cut trees down like that, so I guess anybody in the road crew can too. So,
Yeah.
It's what to do with them once they're cut down.
they have.
Yeah, they'll have to be hauled off.
They have trucks and trailers. They can haul them to wherever they need to be piled and burned.
And somebody might want them.
Or, you
All
know,
the trees that we just took down in our home place, they all went to people who wanted them.
So I don't know, I mean, if we did it, if the road crew did it, then you still bill the TIF project, or how does that work?
I think all the TIP projects from, 2010, 11, 12 were all bid out. I don't think we did any in-kind labor with TIP. So if that's the funding source, it's probably cleaner to bid it.
I think so. It'd probably tie up quite a bit of time to do.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know, 800 feet of, 8 to 100,000 feet of 30 feet wide, thick trees that are all 18 inches in diameter.
on paper or something.
Yeah.
They've been let go for a long time.
Yeah.
But, there's WCTA pedestals and things along the right-of-way line, so you think at some point it was clear. I don't know. I've been trees as long as I've ever known. And, there's been a dispute about the right-of-way, so maybe nobody's taken the initiative to take any trees out of there.
Are they newer pedestals or older ones?
I can't say, I guess.
Well, yeah, I don't know, I think it'd be cleaner to hire the tree removal.
Yeah, but, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a $50,000 project.
But it's probably best to do it in either winter or late fall when they're not using it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably winter would be a good time.
Yeah, there's a, nesting season to avoid, spring, I think, or maybe all the way through summer. I think October to April or something is like the
April, I think.
suggested window.
I don't know, planning and there's gonna be a bunch of parts to that one, so we could probably put that one on the next year instead. We can decide if the whole thing is to be in the TIF district out there, or,
Yeah. A project like that wouldn't take anything to get put together quickly if we needed to. Local funding makes things tough. If we got to put things through federal aid or anything, that's slow.
if it was near the other one, it'd be nice to do it all at once, but it's across the county. We've got, the 4 years left on the TIF, but
It's good to know that you've already been researching getting the land from both sides.
Yeah, it's tedious work.
How about the right of way up in the residential area?
We're taking it kind of one piece at a time, Kelsey and I are. So the entrance road to get up to the clubhouse, that's pretty straightforward. We think we have identified the pieces that we want to get transferred. And then once you get into the neighborhood, there's also a few pieces that I think would just be non-paid for transfers. Both sides would agree to kind of trade pieces back and forth. And then last is the issue of the 5-foot additional right-of-way. And we've kind of saved that for last, being the most difficult. And
Controversial.
don't have a, Kelsey hasn't taken those and collectively and said, okay, if this, then that, if this, then that, whatever. Because there are several properties out there bought on contract. The contract buyer sold the easements to the county and then defaulted on the contract. There's more than one property out there, more than one owner. So what to do with those? I would think you could have them dedicated, but I don't know if all the landowners are willing, and so what to do about those? I don't know the answer yet. But I would like to see all that done before we do any paving out there, and I don't know the timeline on that.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's ready for this next year.
But if we had a deadline or something, maybe we could give it a little bit more attention.
Do you think the whole process with the landowners out there is gonna be a one-on-one thing, or do you think we should have a public meeting out there?
I think a public meeting would certainly be warranted out there. Probably right as we're getting started with design, and then right when, probably be good after a contractor is selected to kind of say, here's what our plan is.
I'm thinking more the extra right-of-way part.
The extra right-of-way is gonna be an issue.
Yeah, well, you could have a public meeting. Sometimes the more controversial things are better left to individual meetings. Haven't gotten to that point yet. I have met with Rice Lake's director, I don't know what his title is, to tell him that we're working on.
The country club?
Yeah.
Country club?
Yeah, sorry,
Manager.
country club manager, who is golf course manager, much less probably real estate manager like, 50 years ago, the club was doing some different things. Anyway, I've alerted him that we're working on something and would bring some stuff to his board at some point.
That's one part of it. I'm thinking more of the household
Yep,
part of it.
yeah.
That one's gonna be more challenging. Yeah, I think that one's at least a year away before we can start planning once they're.
I'll try to keep that moving. So we had a good step here with the surveys completed. It's one step.
Okay. You guys had any questions for Scott?
Nope. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Yep, thank you.
Auditors office discuss drainage matters.
I don't have anything.
She could be here to tell us that.
That's right. 5 steps across the hall.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Open forum.
I know what I was gonna talk to you about in open forum. A lot of these counties are mailing out these notices for house file
required notices.
Yep. They're getting quotes from outsourcing it because it's so much cheaper. The postage that we get charged is like 64 cents, and with their bulk mailing rates, they are like 50 cents or something like that. So they can just do it at such a cheaper rate that it's,
We don't have bulk mailing.
no. And Sarah Border County actually said that they do have bulk mailing, but even with that, it's still cheaper to do it.
Through a contract.
So, I'm gonna look into that and probably do it that way.
What kind of mailings is it for?
It's this new House File 718, there's a required mailing that we have to send out before we send out the taxes. It's, they're gonna cut our funding and then,
There's several stages to
They're gonna make us pay for
notification.
this besides.
yeah. So,
Yeah. What is this, private contracting?
they mail out the forms for you so that,
How can they mail them out cheaper than we can do it ourselves?
because they have a bulk mailing and it's,
And we can't do both.
You put it together, but
yeah, we put it
it's the
together.
same document to everybody.
Yeah, basically. So like each township would be different and, it's gonna be different per area, but will be the same per taxing district.
So right now, anything that goes out from your office or the treasurer's office or whatever, is there a stamper for that, or do you have to affix a stamp?
The treasurer's office fixes a stamp. We use a postage machine. Depends on,
But you pay the full rate.
ours is a discounted rate because we used a postage machine, but we also pay a fee to use the postage machine. Like I said, I'm gonna get quotes from a couple different companies to see who's the cheapest, but from what I've heard from the other companies, it's way cheaper to use the outsourcing.
Well, figure it out, put it on the agenda.
Okay.
Unfunded mandates keep coming our way.
Yep, it's awesome.
And taxing restrictions.
Yep.
They work well together. What other legislative things?
February 1st, I believe, and March 2nd or March 1st. They're out in the hall.
Are they,
And I also put them on Facebook, so.
I'm not a Facebook guy.
Anything else for old people?
Do you want to see those? This is what the form will look like when everybody has their stuff in there.
Okay. Consider for approval auditors transfers.
I'll make a motion to approve the auditor's transfers.
I'll second.
So a motion from Smith and a second from Gensel to approve the auditor's transfers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval county claims.
There was one under the sheriff's department that I had a question about. When you get to the sheriff's, I'll look at it, see if I can remember.
It costs $30,000 to have them come in and audit us, just about. Jeez, how long are they here?
They're here for 2 weeks this time. They're here for a week for GAP. They're here
And
for a
there's
week in the
three?
summer.
Is there 3 of them?
There were Elizabeth, Chris, Ryan, and the other kid, the new guy. Those aren't the correct numbers yet, but they're.
Well, it took the bulk of it, I guess.
This is what I was trying to figure out what it was.
So, and that's just for this time that they were there, and they bill us separate each time they come, or is that for the whole year? The billing comes in.
What?
The billing for the auditors, is that just for this time?
No, that's for,
That's for the whole year.
they do, charge the GAP separately, but not too much.
I'm confused.
Okay,
This drainage one says Logan section 6, according to our plat maps, we don't have a section 6.
I would call the drainage clerk.
Hi, Chris. The Helgeson drainage one says Logan Township section 6. We don't have a section 6. Okay, all right. Thanks.
This one here, that's also stamped approved, is it, or is that, let's see, it's about a 10%.
Well, it's
10.
received.
That's received. Last week's payroll, isn't it?
I think so.
So, it can still be stamped today,
You can stamp it today.
just be
Well, 18 isn't up there, so.
Oh, this is just too much of responsibility. I'm grabbing it wrong.
He has the wrong.
That's the one on 8 that's done.
Remember the 18. 18. Oh. 25. It's in section 26. He forgot the 2.
26.
26. Is that it?
That's it, thanks. Susan, which one were you talking about that you're questioning?
Is that the one that's owned by the
Oh, I don't know.
Mormon church?
Said Sam Dorson,
Oh,
renter with my account. So that's
And Logan 26.
because up here,
probably K6 Family Trust.
K6. That's what it looked like on the, in the.
okay.
I know he
What
rents
else was
from
in
that one.
26?
Which one were you asking about, Susan?
Oh, sheriff's.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was, so I have to look at it.
Remember the amount or? There's Axon Enterprises, there's.
It was just a question.
Osick. Probably just as what, no, dude, Osick must be there.
Is it Bob Parker?
No, not Bob Barker. You guys told me about him.
That's always, every time you look at it, you smile.
So the language line that services, that's probably their interpreter.
Yeah.
Just automatically tells me, hey, there's a video out in ISAC that explains how they come up with them, but I haven't had time to go through and do math yet.
You have to stamp it that I received it, that you approved it.
Yeah. It's a big responsibility, and some people just aren't up to it.
This is out to all department heads. Like in, no, ISAC did, in July, because the webinar was when I was out with my husband.
I would have gotten it already?
Yes, yeah, because it was, the webinar was July, like 28th or something, or 20, it was somewhere towards the end of July. And the webinar, if you don't have it, send me a message.
Okay. What will change on this? Bill?
If they decide to change any of the levy amounts from that. They downwards.
This is some framework that they can work within.
That's, they can only go down from there on the general or rural.
Yeah.
But they have to be at 3.5, every building you have to be at 3.5. For general basic, it's 3.95. And that's what.
Closer to rural anyway. Supplemental levies?
They haven't,
I thought those were increased last.
well, it's not, I'm not saying that they won't yet, but
Haven't been.
if they do that, then it will be. And
Yeah.
it will work. I don't know.
What are the current levy rates? So last year, did we levy 3.5 million? General supplement?
Those aren't current. I have messed with those.
General supplemental's not, is it or?
I think that's down from last year too. So I haven't messed with it too much. I just put in something to start us out.
This one, deducting 8 hours. Is that received?
Yes.
Whose check is it being deducted from?
You'll have to call the payroll clerk.
All right.
Yes.
And that is,
It's to
Chelsea.
Chelsea, and it's out of Chelsea's check, it says.
Chelsea from downstairs.
Okay, yeah, where is Chelsea?
Yep.
That one is Chelsea, I couldn't remember. This time. I got a good memory, just as last time. We have too many of them around here. Whew, I did grab them.
so it's all clear now.
Yeah. You vote on the auditor's transfers?
No, not yet.
Oh. We didn't.
Nothing.
I don't remember it.
I gotta look at my agenda.
You've got a motion,
Oh,
you
made
voted
the
on it.
motion, he seconded it, we voted.
Auditor's transfers?
Yeah.
You did.
Oh, I didn't check it off
All right.
either.
Yeah,
We're both
no,
on.
I'm like, it
Sorry.
seemed like I remembered making a second.
I didn't check it off.
I've got it on my little sheet.
Well, your sheet's probably more accurate than my memory.
So I guess I would entertain a motion for the approval of the county claims.
I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that.
Get a motion of from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the county claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Doing payroll for this week,
It was last week.
last week.
Yeah, it was right years.
Oh, it is last week.
Yeah. She said it was okay to stay. Today's date. Having to adjust these things twice in a meeting, I think, too much.
I didn't want those to explode.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Scott.
See you, thank you.
Baby and mom get to go home already.
They are home. Yep.
Ooh, that was quick.
Yep.
Insurance doesn't pay much more than that.
Nope, she had her Saturday at 2:27.
Oh, I thought they delayed it till Monday.
No, they were gonna delay it till Monday, but she wasn't feeling good on Saturday, and so she went into the ER, and her liver enzymes were up, so they just induced her.
Isn't that amazing what they can track?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Why is it those things go up? All the things that happen. Just the one, some,
Preeclampsia.
yeah, there you go.
Well, last time she had such bad preeclampsia. We were watching her very closely.
You can understand why it will happen during one pregnancy but not on the other with the same person.
Mm-hmm. Her doctor was very, very, very good. Her same doctor delivered both of their kids, which is amazing because there's like 40-some doctors in there.
Yeah, that doesn't always happen.
No.
You kinda get whoever's on
On
call.
call, yep.
The odds are against that.
Mm-hmm.
The same doctor delivered two of my sisters, but then he was the only one that did that, Buffalo Hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, other budget items.
Is there anything else you wanna look at right now, or do you want me to get some of this in the state budget and,
Well, we just wanna make sure what needs to be levied and what doesn't, you know. I suppose anything like a TIF project's gonna be out of, you know, borrowing from ourselves, so it's not gonna affect the levy. I'm trying to think, same with the courthouse repairs, we'll be borrowing from ourselves, as long as we don't put that in the levy. Is there any other projects that we can do under TIF? What about his shop? Scott's shop. We have to amend for that, wouldn't we?
I don't know if that falls under economic development, because,
I think in the past, it's one of those things where, you know, Danos would say it probably could be if we all agree. If it was controversial, then it's not allowed, or
I mean, I can see where the courthouse would fall under economic development. I don't know where, I don't know.
because it's historical.
Yeah. I don't know if the shops would fall under economic development. I can see where the Osmus Road would fall under economic development.
And then same with
And Rice Lake.
Rice Lake is a tourism area,
Yeah.
sports and tourism. Okay. I'm just trying to think outside the box where we can
Mm-hmm.
take money off of the basics. I don't know what would his shop be coming out of.
His shop would have to come out of his budget.
Yeah, but what fund is funding that?
20.
Is that a general basic? Is it a rural basic?
Rural basic feeds fund 20, and then the gas tax and the road tax and the.
And we have to be limited on our rural basic, don't we?
Mhm.
Yeah. What other things we've been talking about or haven't talked about budget-wise? Well, maybe it's time to look at it in the budget and see where we're at. You can't kick the can down the road too much, and you've got the assessor's initial budget, because they don't meet till next week.
I don't have anything to do with the assessor's budget.
Okay, so that's not included in that's a separate levy.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have anything to do with assessors and 911. They're not in our budget.
Well, yeah, other than we have to give money to I'm trying to remember, there's two boards out there. There's the 911, and then 911 is funded by the,
Surtax.
yeah,
We do communications,
yeah.
not
communications
911.
We put money towards
Yep.
50% of it. I suppose down the road, and moving the tower that's over here out to the law enforcement center, can that be part of TIF?
I think that would have to be part of communications.
Yeah,
I think that tower is just fine where it's at.
on somebody else's property.
It's not cheaper there.
Yep. We've got a 100-year lease.
In 100 years, they won't even use towers.
Yeah, well, and that's what my thought back then was, is at some point there'd be some technological advancement that we won't even need towers, that we could just take it down and scrap it.
All from satellite or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So is there any more things that are gonna happen at the nature center that they've decided not to do yet or don't have enough funding for? I'm just looking at the new things that we,
I don't think there's anything we need to be concerned. If they want to do something, they'll probably do fundraising for it. People will give money to a special little project or something, like he's talking about the sign, you know.
Yeah.
People want to give for the sign.
yeah, or if they want a mural in it, and that kind of thing.
It's all funded by their stuff. I was hoping to get some of the animals up in there just to absorb some sound.
Pretty echoey in there, was it?
Yeah, it was.
And we were in the carpeted room and it was
Yeah.
still echoey.
Big space there.
I can imagine on a day like this with 40 fourth graders or 140 fourth graders, how much is going to get tracked in there.
He didn't mention that he hadn't talked to Sarah Gore to see how much it is to clean up there. Pine Creek is a lot of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of. My wife takes the Glenville kids down there.
Oh yeah.
Such a good nature center there.
Or some slushy ice melt.
They'll take them down there. They have cross-country skis that they like to do.
Oh really?
So that when they do it, half of them are inside and half of them are out there, and then they swap.
Oh, that's cool. So really the only things that we've thought about are the Rice Lake Road, the Asmus.
I don't think there's any of his projects that qualify under, that's not already funded by the state or something. So it's not like we can slide it to TIF. Unless there was a culvert project, maybe in a couple of years, if we get to that point where we have these other projects done, and we want to utilize the funds, we could possibly put the smaller projects up for contract, and then pay for it with TIF or something if it's in that TIF.
How long? Did you say 4 years?
It ends in 28.
28.
So is that calendar year 28? Is that fiscal year 28?
I'll have to look at that.
The other question I was going to ask, you remember early on we had that discussion about what Connie was saying, we have to backfill schools. Did you ever find anything out on that?
Not yet.
That'd be a chunk of money probably. Before they're coming up with that. If they're not getting backfilled by by the state, why do we do that? What's the purpose of it? I don't know. Lake Mills is that village in school. Near the history.
Can you explain that to me? There was some percentages that you guys were throwing around on the,
Was it 15%?
I mean, I know that with TIF, we fund, we still have to do their debt service and we still have to pay their, PEPAL. So I know that we still pay them some stuff. for the-
Okay, so it's mostly the PEPAL that we're paying.
Yeah, and their debt service. And so there is stuff that we do pay,
Maybe that's what, just,
but I don't know if it's, I don't know the percentage off the top of my head. I know that, I mean, there is, but I wouldn't call it backfill.
yeah.
I would call it stuff that's exempted
Sure.
TIF.
Stuff that's always been done.
Right. It's not like it's a, so it's, I don't really see it as a backfill. It's a,
And we still haven't got our check from the state for our certain tax. I suppose when they say after the first of the year, then perhaps after January 1, they could be December 31st.
well,
Kick it down the road and try to get as much interest out of it as you can according to code.
mhm.
It'd be nice to know what that number is
Would be.
for budgeting purposes for next year, maybe, if we decide to utilize any of it.
Yeah.
Of course, we're budgeting all of it in case, we're up to it. When we put in 80,000 for expenses out of that, just in case.
I think so.
So whatever comes in, we can go out, but if we choose. I imagine there's criteria you have to spend it on certain things and in a certain time manner or something. You can carry forward some, but you can't just. Suppose you could put it towards a capital outlay. If you're gonna buy equipment or whatever down the road, you could just keep building that. As long as you identify it. Kind of like in communications, if anything that carries over, you have to have a resolution that says you're gonna, the carryover goes towards a certain thing. And we have to pass that resolution every year. Well, anything else?